Hello everybody. Today we're going to be sitting down with Chris Nichols. He's a realtor, but that's not where he started. He started out as a teacher in life. He's been in the Valley all his life. He grew up here, but he's also a world traveler. We get to learn about him and his business and how he got there. He didn't start where people think he started, so we get to learn about that too. He's a very interesting person. We get to learn about Chris Nichols next on the Small Business Voice. Hello everybody, thank you for watching the Small Business Voice. The Small Business Voice is a platform for small business owners to have their voice heard. And what would those small business owners ask you to do? They would ask you to please buy local. So today we're sitting down with Chris Nichols. You own your own realty company, correct?
I don't. I'm not the owner.
You're not the owner, okay.
Broker associate. Dave, Susan, and Danny Mesa are the owners of Atlantic Realty.
Okay. We talked earlier. I wanted to know a little bit about your background, like where you started.
Sure. My background here is I started at CSU Stanislaus. I have a degree in liberal studies and a concentration in teaching. And I became a school teacher. My passion was to be a coach. I loved basketball. But then I realized I don't have to teach children to coach. And so I went into real estate, and I had a mentor by the name of Dave Souza who took me under his wing when I first started in real estate in 2005. And he says, Chris, you have an excellent voice to come and help people out. And he says, have you ever thought about real estate? And I said, I've thought about it. I've seen you in real estate. I have family in real estate, and I see them struggle quite a bit. And so he goes, Chris, why don't you just try it and come on in? I said, okay, I'll take that as a challenge. And so in the year 2005, Dave took me under his wing, and I went to go knock on door after door after door. That first week in real estate, I actually had 3 or 4 escrows, and I said, you know what? This is for me. And that's what I ended up doing. So I think with that, I had a really great mentor who was there with me in the beginning. And he was always pushing and pushing and pushing me, and that's what really helped me to be in the position I am where I'm at today. Is he always tells me is if you want to be successful, learn from the most successful people, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, well that makes sense because we talked about a little bit about your background, and when you were a kid, you didn't start off like you are now. But you learned a lot of lessons going through that. Can you kind of share us what you like, how that transformed to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. So when I was a kid, my family, we grew up poor. When you grow up, you don't realize what poor and you don't realize what rich is. You just kind of go to school and you kind of exist. And so I saw my dad. My dad worked at a local company here in Modesto called Weyerhaeuser's. It was a great company. He was a factory worker. But I saw him continue to increase his level of success in the company. And when I saw his level of success increase, of course our family, when we moved to the bigger house, got a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But my mom was a constant pusher of saying, hey, this is what you got to do. And it's really funny. So my parents' background is my father is this big, great, giant, larger-than-life guy. And my mom is a sweet little Portuguese lady. So with them coming together, I tell everyone it's like a Merle Haggard song. I'm a Portioki from Muskogee. That's what I am. And so with the background of the Portuguese community, they're hard workers. And my mom instilled me in that hard work. And I remember the summer in 6th grade, that I had to go work with my uncle. And my uncle were picking watermelons out in Los Banos. And when I was picking up watermelons, when you're 12 years old, that is very heavy to do, to pick up watermelons and lift. And so I remember I made like $22. It was, to me, that's a lot of money when you're 12 years old. And so I wanted these shoes, and they were called the Omega Spiders. And they were turquoise, green, and white. I mean, they were a beautiful shoe. I worked so hard for that shoe, Anyway, and basketball was happening. So I'm like, I saved those $22 to buy this shoe. So I put those shoes on today, the turquoise green shoe. And I had a classmate come up to me. I'm not going to mention his name, but it's one of my motivators why I'm so great in business today. He comes up to me and he goes, "You didn't buy Nikes?" I said, "I can't afford Nikes." He's like, "You should just buy Nikes." And so it took that day, I realized where I was at in life. It said, "Oh wow, you have to work for everything you had." And I learned at a young age. And so I remember that day, my mom said, "I don't want these shoes." They were called the Omega Spiders. I remember to this day what that shoe was called. I don't think they lasted longer than 6 months, but I thought they looked amazing. And so when I bought these shoes and came home, I was like, "Mom, I don't want these shoes." And she was like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, they're not Nikes, and this is not what the kids has." And my mom, she goes to me that day, she goes, "You worked for those. You worked for those. Don't let anyone tell you that what you're doing is not important." And so I kind of took that as the driving force behind me in that 6th grade. And it's funny today because that other person, the individual, where we're at today, and I'm not going to go into it, but I look at my life and now I actually have to thank him because he's the one who motivated me to do so well in business today. So if you're out there watching, thank you for making fun of the Omega Spider shoes.
Wow, that's something, because I never heard of Omega Spiders before.
Exactly.
So he was a motivator, just how you are in life, but also there's an effect on you then because you took that to your basketball career. I want to learn a little bit more about that.
Sure,
actually.
Absolutely. So it was really nice, and it has to do with basketball and music.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so 7th grade, I was kind of a short, stocky kid, if you could tell. But in 8th grade, I ballooned up to 6'4". I was 13 years old, 6'4" in 8th grade. And so I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm a hot commodity. And so I switched schools, and my mom says, "You're going to switch school because there's an amazing band instructor at Sherlock Junior High." And I was going to Janeiro at the time. I said, "Mom, I'm 6'4". Who needs band?" And she goes, "No, you're gonna do band and learn from this amazing instructor." I said, "All right, Mom, as long as I can play basketball." She goes, "Yep, you're going with Mr. Matthews, the band director at Sherlock Junior High." And she was so excited to go in the band. Well, anyway, when I also growing up as a kid, the one thing my parents gave to me is piano lessons from a wonderful teacher. I had 2 wonderful piano teachers, Effie Siggins and Karen Potter. They're amazing piano teachers. And so my mom always wanted to push music on us. And so, when you're in 6th grade, you get to pick the instrument of your choosing. And of course, guess what I'm going to pick? The loudest instrument possible. It was a trumpet. And I just picked the trumpet because I said, "Oh, that's probably the easiest thing to hold because I don't want to carry a tuba. That thing's too heavy." And so, going back with that is the music was so important because it gave me a really hard line of being very disciplined in business. People don't realize, but music, it takes discipline and theory to play a piano, to play an instrument. And so once you have a musical instrument behind you and you're mixing that with sports and the competitive edge, that's who made me today. Music, sports, and those shoes.
Wow.
Is what made me.
So, I don't know if anybody here keeps up with the NFL, and I know this is a tape show, but we just had a coach that was fired in the NFL. And you have a coaching career, and the reason why I bring that up is because it seems like Bill Belichick has been around for 20 years. The guy's a fountain of knowledge when it comes to football. And then you have the Hugh Jackmans that, can't seem to keep a job. But you have a really interesting theory on coaching, and I wanted to ask you about that. If you want to kind of divulge your secret a little bit.
Absolutely. So I'm the 8th grade Sherlock Christian basketball coach. We have a very small percentage of team players. I think we only have 15 kids in our whole 8th grade, and every year that's what I choose from. Yeah. So my philosophy is we start early and we are well coached because we have to play schools like Modesto Christian.
Yeah.
And you've heard they are fantastic.
Yes.
We play big schools like Click, who have almost 800 to 1,000 students, and we play Sherlock Junior High that has 3,000 students. I'm taking my 15 students at the 8th grade level, and we're competing with them. Last year we actually took first place. And the reason is, what we do is I played college basketball, and I put a collegiate practice on these kids. And so my philosophy is, you practice at home, you rehearse with me, and you perform at game time. Just what a music teacher did to me.
Yes.
So I use that music concept and I put it on the basketball court, and I demand success. And coming from that teaching background, when you actually give a child that focus and attention, and you're demanding success from them, that really helps that child to focus and get that common goal of that synergy, trying to get the common goal, a championship. But the difference is I just want hard work, because if you have hard work, that's going to give you the success for life. And I think that's what I had with my parents who gave them to me. They gave me the success of life, of hard work, with sports, with music, and I think just all over just being in a good family and seeing what it was to go to that next level in business.
Okay, so you're a really big team guy, like your team sports and
Absolutely.
And the music's team. And we were talking about college earlier, and people. We were talking about fraternities and sororities.
Yes.
And I wanted to hear your take on that, because it's really interesting. When I think of sororities or fraternity, I think of Animal House. That kind of dates me a little bit, but you had a really interesting take on that. And what can you share with everybody?
Absolutely. So my wife, she is pretty much the basis of the business, and she, behind the old adage goes, behind every good man is
a great woman.
Great woman.
Yes.
Well, she's not behind me; she's on the side of me. So let's get that straight right now. So she has been a national advisor to one of her Panhellenic groups at CSU Stanislaus. And one thing she always advocates is to have that synergy with groups. And what we spoke about is, when you are with a group of people for a common goal, you are always going to do better with the people you associate with. And I always say, you are the average of the 3 people you associate with. So if you want to go be a multimillionaire, go hang out with multimillionaires. If you want to be a lawyer, associate yourself with lawyers, doctors, etc. Well, my wife has the same philosophy with her Panhellenic groups that she's been advising for years. And one of the groups that she advises was a sorority. And what she told me is academically, people who go in Panhellenic groups, the fraternities and sororities, or fraternities, let's just say that it is actually proven statistically that they graduate within 4 years quicker than someone who is not a part of a fraternity overall. So I think it's very important, and having someone that in my life, like my wife, who is just a constant saying, hey, it's team effort, team effort, teamwork, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what. And you showed me a picture of your wife, and you said she looked like Denise Richards.
I'm a lucky guy.
And I hear that, like, oh man, my wife looks like so-and-so. She really does look like Denise Richards.
Thank you.
I'm going to see if I can get a picture on it. So it just, I was amazed at how close resemblance is.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I knew that when she was 15, and we've been best friends since we were 15 years old, and that's exactly what I had. So I'm very lucky in that category, and I always tell everybody that she's the brains and I'm the beauty, but let's be honest, she got both.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and take a break right now, and we'll come back. We'll learn about Chris's business right after the word from our sponsors.
Every journey begins with a single step. Are you ready to take yours? Here at Modesto Junior College, we can help you begin. The college offers a variety of programs and opportunities, including financial aid. MJC students can transfer to four-year colleges after graduating. Our instructors will prepare you for a successful future in the field of your choice. If you want a quality, affordable education with unlimited horizons, make Modesto Junior College your first step.
We're back with Chris Nichols. Chris, now you say that you work 240 hours a week for people.
That's correct.
Okay, so I need to hear about that. How do you work 240 hours a week for people?
Well, that's easy. The average person, a work week is only 40 hours. But my team, that consists of a couple associates of mine, that we actually work 240 hours because that's their 40 hours, their 40 is 40 hours. It's all for me. So I have a marketing assistant that's full-time, that works for me 40 hours. I have a TC coordinator who's my sister. She's amazing. She works for me 40 hours a week. Then I have a lender that I associate with who also does a lot of work for me too. So, and then also my time is also 40 hours a week, but sometimes it's 50 or 60 hours a week. But on the average 40 hours, 240 hours a week that I work for my clients. And so when you're looking to hire a professional real estate agent, I only go above and beyond, and this is one of the reasons how I do that is because of the people that I pay for to assist my clients with all their real estate needs.
All right. So we talked a little about you started at probably not a great time, at least from the outside looking in, because you started about when the economy kind of plunged a little bit.
Yes.
But you saw a lot of opportunity there, and you know, being a small business owner, you're out here to help people. And can you give me a couple stories about, number one, it didn't scare you off, which I admire you for that. I'm sure it was pretty scary, but it didn't scare you off, and it's another story of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that the downturn started in September of 2006 is where we made a left-hand turn in the market. And then I saw these realtors go out, and the realtors who've been in the business for 20 years saying, I'm done, I'm leaving this business. And I had a lot of senior real estate agents coming up to me and say, Chris, what are you doing to get your business? And I just tell them, I'm working extremely hard. I just kept that focus because I didn't want to give my philosophy of what I was doing to other people. Because when you're new and you're hungry and you're young, you don't want to help anyone. You're all for yourself. But now that I'm at this point now that I've gone through and I've done that, I want to help. I want to help people to get to that position. So what I started doing, I started knocking on doors. Door knock, door knock, door knock. My first summer door knocking was in 2006. I knocked on 3,841 doors. Ooh. I know that because I've actually marked everything down. And I'm very good at tracking. And so I'm also a good reader. So they say, whenever you track anything that you do down, you can always replicate what you've done. And so when I tracked all my business down, I tracked down what I did that day, the contacts that I made, and the people's phone numbers who were interested, people who were interested in selling that day, or they were looking to buy or sell, or they had a family member who were looking to buy or sell. So once I had that down, I knew exactly where I was going. And so when I was done that summer, I had such a successful summer that I had a larger income that agents were working a whole year than I did in one summer because I left teaching and went into real estate. I didn't go back. I said, I'm going to do this, and this is what I need to be successful. And then when everyone was leaving, I said, the cream of the crop rises. That's what I heard. I wanted to be that crop, you know? And so what happened was after that was pretty fantastic is, I don't know if you remember the word a short sell. A lot of people were doing short sells. And so it was my goal to educate myself as being a large short sell agent. And Chase Bank actually had me as the #1 short sell agent in the state of California in 2008. Because I did that, I did about 162 short sells. And you know, one transaction file can be anywhere from 200 to 300 pages. Well, a short sell transaction file is anywhere from 11 to 1,400 pages. And so it was funny, my desk was so full of paperwork that you couldn't even see my computer because there's just paperwork all around it. But in a short sell, that time I think it's going to come back a little bit, not like it was, but it is going to come back in the future. And I think that's so important to help people out because, you know, people's biggest investment is a home. And when people actually overextend themselves, the first thing they get rid of is, you know, they get rid of the services, the pool guy, the lawn guy, let's keep this home. And sometimes, you know, when people can't afford that home because they buy a $500,000 home and their mortgage is $4,000 to $5,000 a month, our income just doesn't support that here. No, it doesn't. So luckily at that time, short sells, they were allowed to sell short of what they owed. a home. And so what happened going back into that 2007 area, short sales were so big. And then you also had a thing called foreclosures.
Yeah.
You all remember what foreclosures were?
Yes.
You could go down the street and you saw 3 or 4 homes that just had listings out from a whole block, listings. And so you had an opportunity that you could pick from. I remember in 2007, that was buyers got to pick everything. And I remember I had a client, I showed him a home, and I was really excited to find this individual home. I showed him 74 homes. Guess which home he bought?
Which one?
The very first one.
Oh.
So I realized that I had to be better at myself to selecting a home that fits with the people who are in front of me, because when you show 74 homes, after the 12th home, they all start looking alike.
Yeah.
And then I realized is whatever home you show your client first, that's the home they're gonna analyze everything towards. They're gonna say, hey, this home had this. This is the home they compare everything to, is that first home. That's why it's so important when you actually meet people the first time, the home that you want to show them first is going to be the best one. You want to show them 7 or 8 homes, and out of the 8 homes, I'd say 80% of them always go with that first one.
Okay.
So that saved a lot of time for me in 2007. I'm glad that happened to me, so I knew exactly what I had to do to make sure I can maximize my potential and effort for my clients.
Okay. I'm going to throw a little curveball at you, because we didn't talk about this earlier, but you know, with the economy kind of collapsing, you know, the banks got a bailout.
Yes.
So how did that affect? Like, is that something you were thankful that happened because it reestablished the economy? I know there's a lot of people that are bitter about it, but I want to know from you, like, what's your take on that?
Well, you know, with bank bailout and homes, even though it kind of mirrored each other, it was separate.
Okay.
You know, luckily we did have a bailout. A bailout was a short seller foreclosure.
Yeah.
And then when you actually short sold your home, there's programs where your banks actually forgave you.
Okay.
You know, which was fun.
Yeah.
Which was fine and great. But in the banking world, which I'm not a banker, but that bailout, it did. There's parts that it did help the economy, and there's parts that it regulated the economy. You know, I'm not a stock guy, but if you look at Citibank stock, when the bank's up, you could buy Citibank stock for 80 cents. That same stock now is $80.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's opportunity. Same thing with a house. A house that you can buy. Let's just go in Stanislaus County. Let's say in Newman.
Mm-hmm.
In Newman, homes were in 2009 were anywhere from $45,000 to $60,000.
And these are 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes?
2 2s, 2 1s.
Yeah.
3 2 would cost you about $75,000.
Okay.
We'll take a home that I know, 1176 Sumac in Newman, sold in 2010. That home sold for $72,500.
Okay.
That home today is now valued at $239,000. So now going back kind of with the stocks, do you know that Stanislaus County real estate actually had a better return than what Apple did from 2010 to 2018.
I did not know that.
We actually had a 93% return in Stanislaus housing market, and Apple was only 92% return. So the old adage goes, you always make money when you buy, not when you sell. So back to your question about the economy, there's always opportunities in every single economy, even this one. You know, the opportunities right now is, though that same person who bought that house, now they have an increase of equity. They can utilize that equity and they can do a tax-deferred 1031 exchange where they can take that money, buy another property, and sell that one out without getting hit with taxes at all.
Wow. So you actually help somebody do that, correct?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Yeah.
So I have a client out of Sherlock's. She had a home that she had inheritance. The inheritance, they took $200,000 and they bought a home, I think in 2011. And they took this home and they said, hey, we bought this home free and clear. And I said, you had such an opportunity to buy 5 or 6 rentals. Why don't we do that instead of putting all our eggs in one basket in one home? And she goes, Chris, well, what do we do? I said, well, we can do a 1031 tax-deferred exchange. And she goes, what is that? I said, let's sell this home here. We'll take 20% of the proceeds and we'll go buy 4 of them. So our valuations are a lot higher. So that's exactly what she did. So we bought 4 homes, and the homes totaled $300,000. And you have to remember, the original home she had was only $200,000 paid for cash.
Yeah.
She sold that home with me. We set up an accommodating account and through a 1031 exchange. She took that money and she put 20% down on 4 different homes. Now they value it $300,000 times 4 is $1.2 million.
Yeah.
So now if you have this home with $200,000, it's free and clear. No one has a crystal ball, but it's only going to be $400,000 to $500,000 in 10 to 12, 15 years from now. But now if you're doing it with 4 of them, now you have $1.5 to $3 million in allocation.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to look at your investments, especially your rentals in this market right now, to see if you can 1031 exchange any properties to make sure that you can go and get a property that you can actually get maybe 3 or 4 homes out of your original investment.
Wow.
That way you can maximize your potential of earnings. And side note with that, rents.
Yeah.
Have you seen how high rents are
Oh,
in
yeah.
our area? Rents right now on the average is about $1,500 to $1,600.
Yeah.
You know, some places in Charlotte are $1,800. Now, if you want to see how much your home is worth, you take $100,000, and for every $100,000 is $700 in your payment. So $100,000, $700, $200,000, $1,400, $300,000, $2,100. So that way you can see what your allocation will cost, and you put your 20% down on that way to see how much rents are compared to what your mortgage is at.
Wow. Okay.
So that's just an easy way, straight standard, you can do the math
Nice.
in your head.
So you're out here to help people. I mean,
Absolutely.
So if you help me, do that, and I had $3 million, the first thing I try to do is run to Vegas. You'd probably tackle me on the way to the plane, wouldn't you?
No, I would say put it all on black and hopefully we get $6 million. But I think investments are very, very important.
Yeah.
I think right now that investments in our future, and especially my generation, I guess I would be Generation X.
Yeah.
I call it Zennial. I'm not a millennial. I'm right in that gap.
I get confused, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know Zennial even existed until my sister told me a few weeks ago. She's like, "No, you're a Zennial. I'm a millennial." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, rub it in." But what's interesting is our generation gap is really starting to change. Like, our grandparents, our grandparents, they saved. They were savers. They helped the Depression. A lot of, I hate to say this, but I see the generation gap from the baby boomers. I'm seeing a lot of people who are in their mid-50s, 60, 70 years old, and they still have a 30-year fix that they just refinanced a few years ago. They're not going to be done with their mortgage until they're 85 to 90 years old.
Yeah, so they got to keep on working.
Yeah, and so what's just interesting is real estate always does this. But the problem with real estate is, look at my elbow, it always goes up over time.
Yeah.
You just have to know when to buy and purchase, and this is your long-term hold, is your elbow. And so I think that's really interesting. So it's really important to invest. And after going back to what you said with the short sales, I think it's really important now we have to save. I had a client about a year ago where he only made $15 an hour, she only made $13 an hour.
Yeah.
But yet they qualified for $330,000.
Wow.
You say, how's that possible?
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
They didn't have car payments.
Okay.
They didn't have cell phones. And what we look at is called debt to income ratios, DTI. So their debt to income ratios was at like 2%. I think the only 2% was they had like a utility bill in their name.
Yeah.
And so when you see that, they actually get to use the whole amount of that $28 total per hour.
Yeah.
And they qualified for $330,000. Well, they were really frugal.
Yeah.
They found a house for $240,000. So it lets us know that when we're in markets and they're high like this, we have to be very aware of the credit cards that we use, what we're spending, the Amazon that we're purchasing lately, who has packages every day to their house. It's unbelievable.
Now the mail service is 7 days a week now because of that.
Absolutely.
Wow. So we're going to take a break here in a second, but I want to ask one last question. You had somebody come to you that was looking for a house, and you say you don't leave any stone unturned.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you about that.
Sure. So when someone comes to say, Chris, I'm looking for this certain home, and this is what I'm looking for. And so remember, I work 240 hours a week with my team. So working that many hours a week, we're going to have more contacts to find great deals. And so a lot of people will give a letter, someone says, hey, I want to buy your home, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. and this is what they do, and they'll just sell it without doing it. Well, I kind of use that same principle. You know, I go and find the deal. I don't wait for the deal to come to me.
Yeah.
I don't wait and sit with my hands and wait for the phone to ring. As a business individual, small business owner, you have to go out and get it. Because if you don't, it's not going to come find you.
It's not. No.
And so having that same philosophy, we have to go out there for our clients, and we have to go find that for them. And this client that I had of mine, it was pretty special to me because it was a family member of mine. And it was that sister who works really hard for me. And so we found a fantastic deal, and we found it under the market. And it's possible to find homes that are under the market as long as the sellers agree to the value that they are going to sell their home for, and the buyers agree with it. You can pick up homes at a great cost.
Wow.
Now, she got a fantastic home, and it did need work. You know, if you get a great deal like that, you know, have a new roof, new everything, new interior floors, the whole 9 yards. But if you can find that home, you can turn around, get into it. 6 months later, you can actually refinance, and you can drop that mortgage insurance off your property and take some money out and put it back into the home, because you got the deal, you got the price at such a great deal that you have an opportunity to refinance, to get some equity back out to put back into the home. So we did that, and we got something about $50,000 under value, and it helped to find them right out. And so it happens more than not. You'd be surprised. And that's what investors do. Investors will always go find a deal, and they'll flip and make money. I'm not trying to be that investor. I'm trying to give that on to the consumer. I think it's really important to the consumer to have the same type of advantages that an investor does, and that's what I'm trying to bring to my clients.
All right. Well, that's good for people to know. So I enjoy this. I'm really enjoying this, learning about you and learning about your business. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back from a word from our sponsors.
When it comes to getting your car detailed, it's hard to choose the right place. At Davis Family Shines, we sweat the small stuff, so you don't have to. At DFS, we're fully licensed and insured, guaranteeing your car is in good hands. With over 15 years in professional detailing, you can trust we're experienced and know how to take care of whatever life throws your way. Specializing in automotive restoration, we're offering interior-only details as low as $99 and complete details as low as $199. That's a huge savings. With a variety of packages including headlight restoration and windshield repair, you'll be sure to find a deal to fit your car's needs. Call today to schedule your appointment, 209-495-0525, or go online at modestocardetailing.com. Treat yourself to that new car feeling today.
So we're back here with Chris Nichols. So Chris, I got another question. I see a lot of TV shows that you kind of laugh. It's I take it that doesn't necessarily happen. Like, it's not, you don't get into real estate, you don't get that $1 million deal right away. Okay. Can you explain the process? Because you've done this a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like reality TV, it's scripted. And so a lot of people come into real estate, and they watch these shows and on A&E. I'm not going to say any shows, but there's a lot of shows on TV about real estate, and it's to flip homes. It's about these real estate agents who are doing these multi-million-dollar market deals, and we don't have those multi-million market deals here. And when someone gets in here, they'll see something on TV, they'll get their license, come in. The next thing you know, they start negotiating on the phone already. And that's one thing we just don't do, is negotiate on the phone. It's got to be in writing. There's a lot of paperwork. If I told you the amount of paperwork that is in real estate, a lot of people would say, oh, it's like homework. It's professional homework. If you like doing 300-page essays, come to real estate, because you're going to love it. So, but going back to the question with the television shows, the television shows are great because it shows what real estate could be. If you're in LA markets, if you're in Hollywood markets, those are fantastic. Those homes are $2,000 a square foot. Our average price here is only $360,000. And that's the high market. When our market was low, like in 2007, our market was $80 a square foot. You could actually buy a home cheaper than what a builder can build a home for back then. But again, the past doesn't equal the future.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see what happens. Now, going back with these new agents who are coming in, they'll say, hey, this is what I see on TV. And they get discouraged in the first couple of weeks because they're not doing a $1 million deal. And it took me 7.5 years to do my first $1 million deal. It took me a long time. And that's just turning over a lot of rocks, finding. But you have to do a lot of those $100,000 deals. And once you start doing a lot of those $100,000 deals, and you grow with people. What I love doing in my business is when you grow with people, you'll see a person who will buy a house and they're single. Next thing they get a family, then they have kids, and then they're midlives, and then their kids start growing up, then they need more space. And I'm at that level right now where the kids are starting to need more space in the last 15 years. And I've seen some people who are single, got married, have a family, and will send kids off in college. And my favorite thing is when I sell a home, someone 10, 12 years ago, the kid was 10, 12 years old, a part of it. Now they just graduated college and they got a great job. Now they're buying with me. I think that's fantastic because I get the longevity of what real estate is all about.
That's awesome.
It's not the instant gratification that we are so used to today.
Yeah.
It's that long, hard work, being there every day for your clients to let them know, say, hey, whatever you need, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice. And I think the best, they always say is, hey, the best thing you can give is referral. But I think what's more important, the best referral I can give to me is give me your sons, give me your daughters. And I think going back to coaching, I think that's why it's so important is because when someone sees me coach their child, they're already giving their most important commodity towards them, which is their son or daughter. And so they know if I'm gonna be that well and that passionate about just sports and coaching, how passionate do you think I'm gonna be about real estate? So when it comes to the television shows, you're the instant gratification. I'm here for the long haul. So that's the difference between the real estate agent, me, myself, and I, is because I'm going to be there for you, yours, your sons, and your daughters. I'm here for the long haul. I'm not here for the overnight success. I'm here for the back-breaking ground, hard work to be there consistently.
Yeah. So we all know your roots are here in Stanislaus County. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, the competition out there is fierce with realty.
Yeah.
And it's usually word of mouth, like you said. People don't really know where to go, and there's a lot of people that just don't put in the work and dedication. So how do people find a good realtor?
First, computer. That's number one. Everyone goes to the computer and looks. But there's different types of real estate, and there's so much real estate. There's commercial, there's ranch, there's investments, 1031 exchanges, selling agents, and me, a listing agent. I'm a listing agent.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's what I'm about. I list your home. I put it on the market. And my team and I, we are fantastic marketers. And so when you are looking to hire a real estate agent like myself, you are trying to find someone who's going to be knowledgeable about the local market, who's going to have a history of being successful selling homes around your market, and someone who has their thumb on the market around them and who has a large access to buyers. With me, I have large access to buyers because I work very close with lenders. I work close with lenders to see who are already well qualified. The state of California, we're allowed to double-side transactions. I'm allowed to work for the seller, and I'm allowed to work for the buyer's agent, or for the buyer as well, as their agent. So that means that I get to work on both parts. And so knowing that, I love to go with a listing, already having a buyer ready to go and saying, hey, this is a great opportunity for you because I have a buyer that's already well qualified to get your home. And so when you hire a real estate agent, you want to make sure that that person is there for you. Then when that person calls, that you're going to pick up the phone. And if you can't get to them, you get to them within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Usually with my team, I usually get back within 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I say on average, an agent is about 24 hours. Back to the instant gratification. When you look for something, you want it now. We don't have the phone book anymore. It's like, I'll be there Tuesday, 8 to 12 on November 1st. Now I want to list my house. If you don't go there that day, you have 10 agents already waiting there because a lot of people, when the internet came in and people said, oh gosh, real estate's done, the internet is just going to take our businesses over.
Yeah.
That's not true. The internet has helped us. Our internet has helped us be consumers of products, and it's also given us a large knowledge base. And if you don't do well, there's a thing called reviews. So reviews are very, very important. You're only going to eat at a restaurant because someone said you're going to look at Yelp and someone said, hey, this restaurant's great, I'm going to eat there. You ever look at a Yelp review and it says, oh, it's got like a 1 star, then you start reading it and then you're like, oh, I'm not going there. We don't want those 1 stars, we want 5 stars. And so a really important part of any business, especially real estate, is when you complete a transaction, is to reach back out to the person and say, hey, so I know how I did and what I can do better in the future. Can you please rate me on Zillow? Please rate me on myself. And will you please just give me a segment and let me know how I did? So that way I can better prepare for my clients in the future. And anyone you know that you can relate, you can refer me to them as well, so I can give them the best deal for the best price possible.
All right. Well, I have a feeling we just got the tip of the iceberg, but we got to take this show to an end. Tell me your saying one more time.
Oh, so my saying, I'm Chris Nichols, and my saying is buy your home with Nichols. And my website is wehelpeverybody.com because it's important to me to help everyone that I see.
That's awesome, yeah. And is there other ways to get a hold of you also?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. My cell phone is 209-777-2390, and you can always reach me by my website too at wehelpeverybody.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, it's like I said, I think we just got a tip of the iceberg, so we'll probably have to have you back on here in the future.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So if you're a small business owner that would like to have their voice heard, please contact me at newsmallbusinessvoice@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook business page you can like, and then you can also check out our website, smallbusinessvoice.biz. So again, Chris, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, people out there, join the crusade and buy local. We'll see you next time.